Well, welcome everybody. It's a much cooler day than it was yesterday afternoon. We were unloading, and I think I perspired through two shirts, and today totally different and beautiful sunshine. So, welcome.
Yay!
That'd be okay with me. It's an amazing day for amazing grace.
I'm looking at him over there going, phew. He said too much lunch. I want to start these really quick before I start really talking with you because it's going to take that much time to get them done. In this pot right here, the Instant Pot, hopefully all of you are familiar with the Instant Pot. I waited years to not have an Instant Pot. I just said, no, I don't want one of those things. And then I did a wedding for Danny Shelton and his wife Yvonne for her oldest son, and she gifted me this, and it sat in my garage for 6 months. And one day we come home, and we'd been gone for a long time, so I had used up my reserves, And we wanted beans, and he said, you don't have any beans. And I'm like, oh, I can't believe it. He said, why don't try that Instant Pot? And I'm like, no. He said, just try it. So I brought it up, and now I love my Instant Pot. It's like, how crazy am I? But I have black beans in here that I soaked. I soaked the black beans. Now, I don't know how many bay leaves that is, but it's a lot. Bay leaves gives a great flavor. And when I was making your salsa, homemade salsa today, and I will give you that recipe, I had fresh garlic, fresh cilantro, and do you see the poblano pepper? I roasted the poblano because I made a roasted salsa. And I'm going to put them in here, even in these huge, hey, honey, I need my gloves. I need some gloves. I even look at the big pieces. It really doesn't matter. I'm looking for flavor, right? So I'm going to put those in there just like that. And see that big old hunk of onion? Yes. I love food. It shows. Yes. And then I'm going to put a little more water in here. You have to fill it up to a certain place. Thank you. Oh, are they underneath? They should be in one of those boxes, honey, or one of them. Probably. I have not. So I don't know. I'm going to put a little bit of paprika, smoked. This is a smoked paprika. And then look back there in that plastic container. And a little bit nutritional yeast flakes, okay? All right. And then I'm going to give it a gentle stir. And then a little salt. Y'all have big flies here. Probably 2 teaspoons. We'll try that. I'm not a big salt person, so you might need more. And I am going to, thank you so much, honey. I'm going to lock this down. I'm going to put it on manual. It's on 30 minutes, and I'm going to let it go. I'm done. Is that kind of hard? No. No, that's what I'm saying. These sell right now for about, what, I've seen them as low as $59, $60, $50, $60. Mine's getting a little bad because I've dented it carrying it so much. And then I'm going to make you a version, I've got many versions, of a Spanish rice. Okay? I already got my rice in here, and it doesn't matter what. You could put a long grain, you could put a wild rice. I have brown rice with a few pieces of wild rice in there. And I've got 3 cups, so I know I need to put 6 cups of liquid. This is 1.5 cups of tomatoes that I just blended up in my food processor. In here I have a few extra tomatoes. I have some red bell pepper, some orange bell peppers. I have some celery. I have some onions and garlic, lots of garlic. So I'm just going to add that right at this point. And I am going to put a little bit of McKay's chicken seasoning. I only use the vegan special because there's no MSG. You've got to be careful with the MSG. And there is no whey. So it is also vegan. Now I'm going to put a little bit. And I can leave the house, come back, and my food is ready. Let me see how many cups. 3. 3 cups of rice. And normally when you have a long grain rice, you want 2-to-1 ratio. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit less here. So I'm hoping, because this will sputter and spout like you won't believe it. And I'm going to turn it on, and it's ready to go. Now, I can leave the house, go shopping, whatever, be gone all day, because both of these machines will keep it warm to a temperature above and below cooking, but above where bacteria can build up. So I don't have to worry about that. A lot of people think you can't get bacteria in vegan food. That's not true. You can. So I just make sure that I keep it on at a safe temperature, and I've never had a problem with it. Okay, because we have a fly up here. I don't like him, and I don't like flies. All right, so that's good to go. Oh, did you get him? Hey, I like that. Now, earlier today, and you're going to try this, and I know I'm not really doing a lot of demonstrating right here. I'll have some more tomorrow. I'm trying to save it. But, I mean, how easy was that? You've seen everything I had. Before I show you, I had one roasted poblano. I had a half of an onion. I had one roasted green bell pepper. I had 2.5 tablespoons of garlic. I had maybe a 1/4 cup of fresh cilantro and bay leaves, probably 10 to 12 bay leaves. These are very inexpensive. I put them in all my beans. And I put probably a teaspoon of paprika, smoked, and then I put just a little bit of salt in with that. So that's what I had in here. Is that going? Does it say on? Okay, it says on. And then you see what I put in here. Ratio liquid, whether it was tomatoes, sauce, or any kind of liquid you're going to put in with your water, and then any vegetables. So the vegetables have water in them too, and I put this on a saute. This is a rice cooker with a stainless tub. I never use a product that has aluminum, so it's very hard to find this product. You can go out on Prime, Amazon, and I think it's $69, $70, and I have used this for probably 8-9 years. That's how long I've had it. But it's stainless in here, so I don't have to worry about contamination when it comes to aluminum. And I've made my oatmeal, you name it. I've made soups, make everything in this little pot here. Yes. Hang on. I have it set for 30 minutes. You know, it's called NutraWare, but I forget the name of the company that makes a lot of your rice cookers, but they don't have this out on the market. You have to go to their website or go to Prime on Amazon to find it. And it's the only one I've seen that you can actually get a stainless tub with. Now I have another product at home. Okay guys, I have to confess, I know a lot of people have their things. Mine is cooking stuff. And I've got one called a VitaClay. Has anybody here ever used a VitaClay? It has a clay pot in it. And I've cooked rice, I've cooked soups, I've cooked everything again. And I can leave it and come back, same thing. So it's just your taste to what you want. Does anybody use Facebook Market? Huh? Yes, I love Facebook Market. I have a product that's called, or a machine called a NutraMilk, NutraMilk. And Chef AJ advertised it, and when I seen it, I thought, I've got to have that machine. It runs about $500. And I went out to Facebook Market and found mine for $150. It was gifted to them, and they didn't know what to do with it and couldn't care less. And I bought it brand new off of them because they hadn't used it. And I can make all my nut butters, I can make all my milks, I can make coconut milk, I can make almond milk, cashew milk, oat milk, I can make all of them. If I would have had room, I would have brought it, showed you, and served it to you. The only difference in the milk I make than what you buy at the store, depending on the brand, I don't have sugar in mine, and I do not have stabilizers. all milk from the store, whether it's soy, almond, whatever, has to have stabilizers, or you have to shake it all the time. I don't mind shaking my milk, would you? I just want whole milk. And my husband's favorite that I make in there is actually the oat milk. And there's no fat in the oats. So I buy organic, non-glyphosate oats, and I make a oat milk that way. And I can judge it to how much water I put in it and make a cream. And you know, these creamers are not cheap. Some of the new creamers now, nut pods, you pay $5, $6 for a small one. So economically, the machine pays for itself in no time. You could probably find this out on Facebook Market if you just type in the net brand and put rice cooker, see what it comes up. Of course, you can always find, I've seen Instapots out there for like 20, 25 bucks. People get them, they don't use them, they don't cook, really, they don't. So they get rid of them. The Instant Pot, I can't, NutriWave, is it? N-U-T-R-U, sorry, I do wear. N-U-T, no, it's N-U-T-R-I-W-A-V-E, NutriWave. But I'm telling you, this thing is amazing. It even comes with a steamer on the top so you can steam vegetables while you cook things in the bottom like your rice or grains. So it does do whole grains, so not just white rice. White rice cooks so much faster and you use half the water you do in your whole grains. So, the Instapot's really a pressure cooker. This cooks slower. This is really a rice cooker. So this is much different. When it first came out, I thought, I haven't used a pressure cooker since I was canning in the canning years. So, but the Instapot is really special. I really like that. Any questions? No. Wow. This is something I made today for y'all. I went to the store to find a few things that I needed for here, and I could not find salsa without vinegar, without sugar, and a horrid bunch of ingredients. I couldn't believe it. Oil, they go, what is that doing in salsa? Unbelievable. So I bought some poblanos. You can see I roasted all of this. This is what you call a roasted salsa, and that's why it's darker in color. It's not bright red, because I roasted the peppers, I roasted the serranos. Do you guys like serrano peppers? Or, yeah. The men are gonna love this, the women are gonna like, a little hot, but I love it. It's not too hot for me, and I don't like it as hot as my husband does, but he put his approval on it. So I used 8 Roma tomatoes, if y'all wanna write the recipe down, if you like it. I did 8 Romas, and I put it in a pan, and I just kept turning my Romas. I had the heat up on high, and I just wanted to blister, basically, my tomatoes. And I did not peel them. A lot of people will take the peelings off your food. More vitamins and nutrients are in the peelings most of the time than what's in the fruit or the vegetable. So I just roasted the tomatoes right there on the with the pan. Then I took the 8 tomatoes out, let them set. I did 3 poblanos, but I used 1 for the beans. So I did 2 full poblanos roasted, and I did 1 serrano. So I roasted them. I did 1 onion. Yes? Poblanas are not like a bell pepper. They're kind of between a bell pepper and your mildest hot pepper. They really, and the more you roast things, it really helps with the heat. And I also remove the seeds. So if you keep the seeds in there, you're going to get it hotter. I did remove the seeds from this. And as it sets, it's actually going to reduce some of the heat because the tomatoes and the onions and everything is going to help neutralize. Yeah, it's going to help that. So 2 poblanos roasted, 1 serrano roasted, a regular onion that I use sweet onions most of the time, and I just cut it like in little quarters. I threw it all in the food processor with about a cup of fresh, I have to think now, cilantro. I had fresh cilantro in there. the juice of 2 lemons, the juice of 2 limes, about a teaspoon of salt, and probably about 6 cloves of garlic. Can't have too much garlic, can you? I've noticed since I did not. The only thing I roasted was the tomatoes and the peppers. Now you can roast it. It'll be milder in taste. I like my salsa to have, I want to know it's there. When I put it in my mouth, I love it. I use cilantro on a lot of things. If I had this salsa here, and I didn't want to go in the refrigerator and cut up vegetables, I would have put the cilantro in here for a Spanish rice. Okay, I probably would have put at least a cup in here with a little bit of the chicken style seasoning and done it that way too. I've done it so many different ways. So I usually have a lot of salsa at home. And the salsa's getting expensive. And trying to find one without the sugar and all the stuff in there. And I don't like something like a salsa that says natural flavorings, because I don't know what's the natural flavorings in there. I don't know what it could be. One thing that I have found out with some manufacturings on small companies, I can't tell you on the larger ones, they will not tell you, is that they do natural flavorings, because if they gave every one of their ingredients, people could figure out the recipe. So to keep that proprietary recipe, basically, they might put garlic or onion or something in that natural flavoring, so you might not know exactly what they used. I've talked to some small manufacturers that say they do that. That's common. But for salsa, I'm like, what would they need in there besides what's in the ingredients? So anyway, I did that for you this morning. When I went to town, I just thought, I'm going to make my own salsa. So I was down there making it while my husband was taking a nap. He was working really hard. He needed it. Huh? I don't know. He's been eating it for 6.5 years, doing a really good job. Do you have any questions on the salsa? Do what? Yes, has anybody made the mango salsa? Now I just chop all of it up. I do not put it in the food processors. Yes. Do you roast your mango? I don't. I put my mangoes in fresh. Have you put cucumber in it yet? No, not yet. Try cucumber in there. Cucumber is one of the few vegetables that we have that has the highest amount of our B vitamins. And if you get hungry in the afternoon and you want something to eat, if you would just eat a cup of fresh cut up cucumbers, it also helps for satiety. So it will curb your appetite as well. I leave the skins on everything. I do. I clean them again with vinegar and water, so I'm not worried about that. So I always leave the skin on mine, but it really helps just to curb that hunger. If you haven't had a meal in the mid-afternoon, you need a pick-me-up to eat cucumbers. Plus, you're getting your B vitamins in it. Did you have a question? No, just raise your hand. Yes. When I wash my vegetables and fruit, my fresh produce, when we went to town today, I had it all out. I didn't put it away till I cleaned it. I always clean my produce first, and I use about a cup of water, half cup to a cup, in a big bowl, and I put my vegetables, fruit, whatever I can fit in there, and fill it with water, and leave it set for 15, 30 minutes or longer, and then I rinse everything really well. I lay out towels, and I let everything dry, and then I put it away. A half a cup to a cup. I know some people who will clean their sinks out really well, and they'll use vinegar to make sure their sink is disinfected, and they'll put one side fruits, one side vegetables, and they'll soak them with like a cup of water in each side in cold water. I even have gotten to the place where I really wash my watermelons and my cantaloupes. If I don't grow them, or somebody else I know, because when you take that knife and you cut into that dirty melon, everything it touched now, and your knife is again on the inside where the meat is, and you're eating whatever's on the outside. So I always clean the outside, my squashes, everything. If I'm going to cut it, I'm going to clean it. So I would just, yes. I could not hear you. So, oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I have not heard that. Maybe Dr. McCullough. I know he has a lot of information out there. The natural flavors. But natural flavors can be anything. It can be meat. A lot of people don't realize that when they make sugar, there is a process called charring. Charring is where they use bovine, which is beef bone meal, to make that sugar so nice and white. And I was shocked when I went in a grocery store one day, it was Walmart, and I was looking at sugar, and one of them said vegan, and I'm thinking, man, they'll do anything to charge you triple the price for this stuff. And I thought, this is crazy, so I started researching, and that's when I found out that a lot of the charring processes in our sugar, and if it doesn't say vegan or plant, then I guarantee you it's had bovine or cow bone in there for charring. And that shocked me. I never knew that. So that's another reason not to eat raw sugar, or should I say processed sugar. Yesterday I was telling you a little bit about my story and what my husband and I have been doing. And I don't know if you're aware, we need to exercise. And it was so wonderful as I'm prepping down there in the kitchen of the White House to watch so many walking. You don't see that too much. Do you see people really walking as much as they used to? I've seen individuals who will line up at the store and go completely around the parking lot with their car till they see somebody pull out up front so they can just jot into the store and back. And my husband and I parked far out because he says, I don't want somebody beating my doors. So we're always walking as much as we possibly can. Do you know that weight loss, 85% of weight loss is food and only 15% exercise? A lot of people think it's the opposite, that it's about 85% exercise and 15% food. And it's not. We need to exercise. We need it for our health, for our hearts, for our minds, for thinking, the fresh air. It all works together. The 8 health laws that we have are not 8 suggestions. Just like the speed limit is not a suggestion to me. If you should have seen my husband's face today, I said, no, honey, that's a suggested speed, but you don't have to go that fast. Yes?
I say what you don't use, you lose, and that's mentally and exercise.
And physically, yes, it is. She's saying what you don't use, you lose. So our weight, our exercise mostly is walking. Does anybody rebound? Rebound. Trampoline. It's the small trampoline. Do you know that if you're not used to using a rebounder, and if you got on one and never been one and you thought, okay, I can do this for 20, 30 minutes, you will actually get sick because it moves the lymphatic system with the toxins in it so much better than any other exercise that you have to work your way up to it. So when my husband liked to watch TV, I'd grab the rebounder out. I walk fast and I walk slow, and then I bounce a little bit, turn around and do all that, and I set my timer on the stove for 10 minutes. It's best to do 10 minutes a day for 1 week, then go up to 15 minutes a day the next week, The next week, do 10 minutes twice a day. The next week, 15 minutes twice a day until you're able to do 30 minutes a day. And that's because you don't want to shock the body with all the toxins that are in there and move them too fast. I would have never believed it, because I can do on a trampoline 15 minutes what most people do on a 30 to 45 minute walk. They're relatively inexpensive. Go out to Facebook Market, you see them all the time. People get them, say, oh, I don't want this contraption, then they get rid of it. But we need fresh air, we need sunshine. Sunshine is best if you use the sunshine earlier in the morning, about between 9 and 11 o'clock. After that, you start to get more of the ultraviolet rays, but 15 minutes a day is all the vitamin D you need. Most of you live in West Virginia, correct? Maybe some in Pennsylvania, or where? South Carolina. Well, she gets sunshine. I take vitamin D in the wintertime, D3. Do you know what the purpose is for the D3? Do you know what that means? Okay, I love teaching somebody something they don't need. Huh?
Doesn't that absorb?
Well, it does. There are 3 types of vitamin D. Used to, the reason why they did not need vitamin D back in the day is because most people got up with the sun, correct? And what would they look at the first thing in the morning when they got up? The sunrise. That's D1. The next thing is midday, that's D2. The next they would get is in the evening after they ate, and they would sit on the porch and watch the sunset. That's D3. The only way you can get all 3 of them without a supplement is to see the sun come up, be out in the sun and it doesn't take long, but the vitamin D1 and 3 needs to be absorbed through the iris. So that's how you get it without taking a supplement, is you're looking at that sunset. When we went to South Dakota and was coming out of Iowa, wasn't it, honey? Into South Dakota, I'd never seen a more brilliant red sunset in my life. And my husband's like, you better stare at that to get your vitamin D3. But has anybody heard of infrared? Infrared. Infrared does a lot for the body, like your vitamin D1, 2, and 3. But it does it from the, you can have like a big sauna type infrared, or you can have a small one where your head sits out. And it's amazing what people are doing with the infrared saunas for cancer and other viruses that invade the body. So infrared is your friend. So remember that when you're looking in the morning for the sunrise and in the evening for the sunset. Also rest. That's the hardest one. My brain does not shut down. Ask my husband. I could be running full blast all day long, and it's time to go to bed, and I'm like the 2-year-old child that's not ready to go to bed ever. And so we crawl into bed at night, and I can't sleep. I'm thinking of 1,000 different things, whether it's recipe or this program, that program, what we've got to do, what I have to get done tomorrow. And every day I say what to my husband? Every day I say, I just don't feel like I got a thing done today. And then he starts naming off everything I've done. I'm thinking, but I didn't complete everything I wanted to do. But I set my standards so high, I can't complete everything I want to do. So when I go to bed at night, what happens? I can't sleep. I can't shut down. I have to go through a process. So my husband says good night, gives me a kiss, rolls over, and guess what I start hearing? And I'm thinking, this is wrong. So I get a little closer to him, and I touch him, and I hear a grunt, and I say, hey, honey, do you want to talk? And he's like, in the morning when I get up. And I said, you don't want to talk tonight? No, I want to go to sleep tonight. I wish I could be like him. But what happens when we don't get this rest? It really does havoc on our immune system. we need rest. We need to de-stress ourselves completely. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just wired. And so I have to get that stress release. What is good for the body? What is good at night to help you when you sleep, to go to bed to sleep? What is something that's good to help you rest? Do you know? Can you name a few things? Sure. Mm-hmm. My brain off. Okay. Okay. Yes. Hot shower, something? Bath? Okay. Yes.
I'm like you. I have a hard time shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a hot and cold shower.
Okay.
And I put essential oils like lavender and
Oh. Vitamer. Have you ever tried Vitamer? Oh. Yes. Okay. Deep breathing. Okay. So she's a type A personality. So for her as well, she has to do something to get her down. Do you know what the number one problem with people who are stressing and can't get to bed at night is? Do you know what the number one is? Television. Television. I don't care what it is on TV. Television. Shut it off. Number two, cell phones. And you'll lay in bed at night. Can't sleep, so I get on my phone. Well, you can't sleep because of that blue light that hits your eyes. And I mean, I know I was on my phone a lot because we completely shut our cable off, so I couldn't use my computer, and I was on my phone, and I noticed it started feeling like my eyes were burning because I was using my phone more. If you're going to look at your cell phone within a few hours prior to sleep, going to bed at night, just make sure that you use the glasses that void out that blue light. That helps, because if not, it's hard to sleep. I'm one of those people who wakes up a lot during the night. You know, I'll wake up and I'm like, okay, what time? Oh, I can't believe it. I went to bed at 11 and it's now 12:30. I've only slept an hour and a half. And I'll turn and I'll toss and I'll turn and I'll scratch. I'm like, okay, this itches. I'll scratch that. Oh, I've got a scratch here. It's awful. And then I finally go off to sleep and I wake up again, and guess what time it is then? 2 o'clock. And then I do the same thing and I wake up and it's like 4 o'clock. Ask my husband, he'll tell you. I'm just like a yo-yo, up, down, up, down, up, down. But I have learned that if I stay in that bed and I do not get out of that bed, I will go to sleep. And the more exercise I have towards the afternoon, it makes me really tired. So rest, rest, rest. Everybody is so stressed out right now. I've never seen anything like it. I get more people saying, oh, Melody, what do I do for stress? Well, number one, cut sugar out. Cut sugar out of your diet, folks. Get rid of sugar. It's evil. It's evil. And it tastes wonderful. I got to think of one day, why are all the things that taste so wonderful so bad for us? Do you think there was a plan maybe somewhere for that? Wasn't it, I can't think of the country. I read an article a few years ago about these kids. They had a lot of the sugar cane. Does anybody remember this story? And the kids would suck on the sugar cane. And it was an indigenous place. It was, not very populated. And when they came there, some of the missionaries, people looking after them, found out that most of the kids had like 75% of their teeth rotted out because they were sucking and chewing on the sugar cane. My oldest son, I hate to say this, my oldest son is 48. And He's had one surface cavity in his life at 48 years old. But I always had lots of fruits and vegetables in our home. And I just think he takes really good care of his teeth because he did eat sugar. Those are the things that I think are most important to your body that you can help during this stressful time. I've had people come up to me and talk to me and ask me, what do I do if I've had COVID? Most of us probably in this room have had COVID. I've talked to some of you about the dandelion root, because even if you've had it and you're over it, let me ask you this. How many of you have had COVID but still feel like things aren't right in your body? I'm one. My husband's one. You're one. I can tell the difference from how I felt 2 years ago today. Now I'm 2 years older, but still I can tell things still aren't right. When I started taking the Dandy Blend, which is a dandelion root product, and it doesn't have a lot of stuff in it, it's just 100% organic dandelion. I'm taking a tablespoon in 16 ounces of water, so 2 glasses of water in a tablespoon. That is supposed to reduce and eliminate the toxins that are left over by COVID. Okay? So I'm one of those people. And even though I do everything I possibly can to eat my food right, to make sure I eat it as whole as possible, I still have noticed a difference. What am I here on time? Does it say? It does say on. Did it say a time? Has it come back and forth? Somebody watch this and tell me what my time is. It hasn't come to pressure? It should have come to pressure. Yeah, it did release once. So it should have. So it should have already come up to pressure. Huh? Do you smell it? That's the other thing that I have not received back like I had it prior, was my sense of smell. I lost it completely. I have regained it, but not as strong as it was prior to COVID. Do I think there's more coming? Yes. I was shocked when I read the second selected messages. Yes, ma'am.
There's a solution for that, for the loss of taste and smell. It's the lack of sting.
Mm-hmm.
If people take, 100 milligrams of the sting, once a day for a week,
It'll come back. Yeah, because mine hasn't come back fully. When she said, "Oh, I smell it, it's cooked," I can't smell it. And I rely on my taste and my smell a lot. You can smell it too? You smell it too? Well, y'all got great smell. What's it say? It says 30? It just hit 30? Oh, we've got 30 minutes before it's done. Sorry. Normally it doesn't take that long. I might have hit a different button in our programming after we got here. So normally I can put it on manual, and in 30 minutes I'm releasing the pressure on it. So we're going to be a few minutes late. That's okay. Is there any program that's coming after mine today? Yes. What time is dinner?
5:30.
Oh yeah, I'll have you stuffed before dinner. What can I do for you when it comes to food to help you make, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, to make your meals as simple as possible so that you might be able to, I don't know if some of you are thinking about it, but I'm telling you there's no diet in the world, no diet better than the diet that God created us to eat.
Amen.
And you're fooling yourself if you think you can get by with eating the foods that the world has, because even a lot of our vegetarian analogs I have not bought in years. I won't touch them anymore. But is there anything I can help you with during these programs to give you this information that you would need to go back to your home and try it? Somebody's pointing. Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't see you.
This is not what you're asking for. When your energy level goes down,
Yes.
mine does, what fruits, vegetables can boost that up?
Okay, so now your energy level goes down. It's always down, or it's down after a certain time of day, or do you notice it more than you've ever noticed it? Is there a difference in your energy level? Just various times.
Depending probably when I sleep, has a huge effect on it.
Are you sleeping good?
Not here.
Okay.
At home, I just notice my energy level going down. And I'm just,
Mid-afternoon?
yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, I've got a couple questions. Do you eat before bedtime?
No.
Okay. What's your diet like?
It's plant-based for the most part.
Plant-based or whole plant-based?
I don't know the difference there.
Whole plant-based is you don't use refined, already cooked products, like you don't use corn chips with salt and oil, or you don't use crackers with salt and oil. You don't make cakes or eat cookies even though they're vegan, or muffins, or I could go on and on of the things that are processed because they're highly loaded with either sugar, salt, and oil. So there is a difference in a whole plant-based diet than a plant-based diet.
Interesting thing. I'm not a cook person.
Well, and you don't have to be. We eat simple. I probably, even though I can cook you whatever gourmet food you want, I can cook food to your taste. I can cook the bad plant-based food, and I can cook the good plant-based food. But it depends on what you like. If you like fruits and vegetables and whole grain and legumes and essential fats, which are like coconut. And I don't mean coconut that's dried that has sugar at it. I'm talking about coconut, whether it's dried or raw. I'm talking about avocados. I'm talking about nuts and seeds that are raw. Because once you bake your nuts, what happens? Do you know? I don't know if she was just doing off her hands, but that's whenever your fat becomes saturated. So Dr. Schwartz, I don't know if y'all know him from Amen. He's president of Amen. He's my husband's cardiologist, and he said you should never, never, never roast your pecans or walnuts and your other nuts. So eat them raw. But energy level, are you eating a lot of greens like kale and spinach and salad? The green. You do that at lunch. And is it shortly after lunch that your energy falls down? Or is it more in the afternoon? Do you eat desserts?
Do I eat desserts?
Yes, sir.
I don't buy anything like that.
You don't buy any desserts, so you're not eating sugar. Because sugar is the worst to just plummet you. What about exercise? Okay, so you walk too, and your energy level's still down in the afternoon.
Yeah. I've heard that exercising boosts your
It does?
level.
It does?
Correct?
Yes. It does. I know whenever my husband and I, after we eat dinner or breakfast, you know, a lot of times we'll sit down, talk, read, and I've gotten to the place where I say, okay, honey, it's time for us to walk. Right after you eat a meal is the best time to walk.
We're told to walk 15 minutes after the meal.
Yes. And it helps. It helps your energy level. If I was tired, I'd probably go for, especially out in fresh air. Fresh air is the best thing, huh? Water. I didn't ask you that. How's your water consumption? I just automatically thought if you're doing all you're doing, you drink lots of water.
I'm trying to get 7 or 8 glasses a day.
7, 8. Trying or you do?
How busy you are.
Don't be too busy for your water, because the only part of your body that can afford to lose water if we're not hydrated properly is the water that surrounds our brain. So you know how we'll say, oh, I've just got this fog right now. Man, I don't know why I feel so tired. Drink 8 ounces of water right away. I try to sip on this a lot during the day, so I try to get at least 1.5 of these in a day. When I travel, at home I have a Berkey, and I use the charcoal filtration to filter my water, and I drink it. But when we're on the road, you know.
The more water you drink, the better the energy level is. Am I hearing you correctly?
I'm not saying the more you drink. What I'm saying is you need to adequately drink enough. And if you feel like you're dropping down in the afternoon, try drinking a glass of water to see if that would boost. If you're eating properly, if you're resting properly, if you're exercising properly, that would be my next suggestion. Or I don't know if you have a good doctor you can talk to about it, to check to see if maybe something's, you're low in something. Some type of vitamin, I don't know. I don't take vitamins, but I eat my vitamins in my food. Okay.
No, I think I'm doing okay for a bachelor of 75.
I think you're doing great. If you have a little low level, that's okay. Yes, sir. Yeah. Bicycling? Do you buy energy drinks? You used to. Okay.
And what it was, 8 ounces of coconut milk, 1 kiwi, and a red pea.
Mm-hmm.
Blend it up in a blender, and I drank that, and I could go 25, 30 miles and never even want to stop.
So you did water, beets, coconut water. Okay.
Coconut water, and a beet, and a kiwi, and blend it up in the blender.
The 3 of them. Okay.
And drink that, and it just unreal. The energy that you will have. Yeah, everything all the
Okay. Raw beets. Beets are one of the fewer vegetables that we actually get our copper from. But, you know, I feel like if I don't do a lot of juicing. I like to eat my food. I wonder if you would have eaten a little bit of a beet and a kiwi and coconut, would that have done the same thing? I'm wondering. I don't know. I don't buy energy drinks, but man, the people who buy them, I'm going to tell you a story. My husband and I, last winter, we started to do something we never did before. We wanted to try it, and we did ship shopping. Does anybody know what ship shopping is? Ship shopping is a company that you pay $100 a year as a customer, and you sign up, and somebody like me goes to the grocery store. There's an app on your phone, and that customer, and you take, they say you have a shipped order. And so I can go out there if I get this and do the shipped order and go buy your food for you and deliver it to your house. Okay? It was the best experiment my husband and I ever did. We were on our second week of ship shopping, and I think we started out, what, honey, maybe 3 days a week, maybe 4 or 5 a day. It took over 2 weeks before somebody ordered potatoes. I don't know how many people I've actually shopped for, but I think we did it for, what, 2 months? 2.5, something like that. I can tell you the fattest, the sickest, the most feeble people by what was in their shopping cart. I had a gentleman one time that said, when you're through with my order, or if there's something you can't get, please call me. Do not send a text because I do not have a cell phone. And I had to call him, and he said, oh, by the way, when you deliver my order, you have to bring it in my house and unload it. And I said, I'll have my husband do that. And I had to stay behind in the store because another order came in. And I think, going back, trying to remember, and I wished I would have taken pictures of this, he probably had 6 cases of a soda pop, because we ended up having to do 2 shopping carts. His order was over $200, close to $300. And he had cupcakes, cookies, pastries, chips. I cannot tell you how many bags of different varieties of chips. All meat, processed meat like salami or bologna or whatever. Cheese, milk, and condiments, all types of different condiments, sweet pickles, mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise, and a lot of frozen prepared food, like Salisbury steak or chicken fried banquet or all of this. And I looked at that cart, and my heart, I literally thought, these poor people, they have not a clue. And so I told my husband, I said, when you get there, I want you to tell me what they look like. He said, what do you mean? I said, this man is probably every bit of 300 pounds. And I said, I don't know if there's anything at all. Let's pray about it. I don't know if there's anything we could do to help somebody like this, because honestly, most people don't want to hear it. And he got there, and he said the man was in one of those automatic chairs. He weighed a minimum of 400 pounds, and his wife weighed a minimum, he said, of 300 pounds. And they were sitting in front of the TV, both of them in the cart. He could not physically get out of the cart to go to the refrigerator to put it up or to put it in the cupboard. My husband had to do it for him. I think the banquet, what they bought was already prepared and packaged. Nobody had to cook for them. Nothing, everything was processed. Meat, they might have sat in their chair and just did it right over the stove. It could have been lower, I don't know. But most everything they had bought was already prepared and processed for them. He had, I know my husband talked to him a little bit. He had diabetes, he had heart disease, he had fibromyalgia, he had my husband said his ankles were like this. He had such edema. And my husband said, you know, my wife does, she's a plant-based chef, and he said a lot of times she does things to help people to get off medication. He said, oh, there's nothing they can do. I've been like this a long time. And you just have to pray for him. You cannot say, well, I can tell you it does. You can't argue with people. But you would not believe how many people out of all those orders we did that we followed, and we did it purposely to see what Americans are eating. You would be shocked. Yes.
How does that affect your mental ability to comprehend spiritual things?
Well, we know it does, because we know Spirit of Prophecy tells us when she says that our taste buds will overcome our reasoning. That's a quote, her exact words. How bad does it have to be that we can't reason that if food got you there, food has to get you out?
Actually, she should take a knife to your throat.
Yeah, it's so sad. We kill ourselves every day with a knife, fork, and a spoon. Every day. And I remember one day I was talking to somebody, and I said, you know, I'm tired of my body being a billboard for Satan. I want my body to be a billboard for God. Yes, ma'am.
I'm allergic to beans, highly allergic to beans. And since I've taken them out of my diet, I'm much better.
Okay. All beans or varieties?
I haven't done that, you know,
Okay. Sure.
I guess I can probably use lentils and some of the beans
Sure. Uh-huh.
to get enough protein.
Um,
Do I have to really worry about it?
They're the highest amount of protein. I know as long as you are eating some of the bean family, I would check into that on the lentils, because that's the first place I'd send you. It would be to lentils and chickpeas. If you said highly allergic, what happens to you when you eat the beans? Do you break out? Does you
break out inside,
inside? Okay, okay, okay. There is, I don't know if you've ever heard of Med Missionary, Dr. Cho and Dr. Mercy Ballard. They've been doing a program on people. Most of us who have these autoimmune diseases, or we have gut issues, or this issue, or I'm allergic to this, the body is already in stress condition. There's a breakdown in our body that we cannot eat these foods. For whatever reason, I don't know. I wish I had the answer. But they have a particular diet that they do, and to bring a person back to where they go through this process of where it reverses the autoimmune diseases. It reverses, she had a patient that left about 3 weeks ago that they reversed ALS. All of the symptoms and side effects of ALS. Med Missionary. I can get you in touch with Natalie, who works to talk people through this diet, and I think I might even have the book here with me. Huh? Anti-inflammatory for any autoimmune disease, which might help you. It repairs the body by eating specific foods, and it's not like you have to go on a diet, but you have to eliminate specific foods, even in the plant-based, a lot of things in the plant-based. I did it when I didn't know it was COVID that was in my intestines. I did it for about 3 weeks, and you talk about energy. I had more energy and felt better than I ever felt when I did that for 3 weeks. It was amazing. It was amazing. Yes?
I've been on it for 2 years now.
You've done it.
Yes, and I went to specialists for my problems, and like fibromyalgia and all kinds of stuff because I couldn't hardly move. And within a week, I felt like a new person, and I feel like I'm giving my life back.
Now, did you go back to eating some of the foods, or do you stay particularly in that food group?
I get all grains. I only use like pseudo grains.
Okay.
Once in a while, if I'm out and about, I will eat something that I know has meat in it.
Yes.
It doesn't really affect me, but that's just that one instance, and then I completely go back to the regular, the very
Sure, sure.
but I can get ready to eat a little bit, but I never want to go back
Because of the way you feel now. Well, that's the same way with Dr. Cho. She just got married yesterday. She's the same thing. She was really, really bad sick, and eliminating specific foods is where she reversed her health to great health now. And the people that have gone through, what a testimony. Somebody's sitting right here. Her and Mercy were there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. The book, the cookbook and all. Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay. Yes. See, you have to complete, on that program, you have to eliminate grains. Not because grains are not good for us, because most everything has been hybridized, it has been chemically treated, glyphosate, it's in there. And I believe a lot of that's what's caused our gut to break down, because Ellen White says that disease starts in the gut. And I know I have suffered since, I was in my late 30s. I've had little bouts here and there from when I had appendicitis. And my appendix ruptured before they can get me into surgery, and then I ended up with peritonitis. And I was a sick lady, a very sick lady. Did I know then that high fat caused that? No. But I know I was sick. And then shortly after, I was diagnosed with celiac disease, and then I was diagnosed with Hashimoto disease, which are both autoimmune diseases. And I know this program that Mercy has and Dr. Cha, that is healing people. But you cannot have corn, you cannot have wheat, you cannot have barley, you cannot have rye, and you cannot have Oats. Rice, no rice. You can have quinoa, you can have buckwheat, and you can have amaranth. But there's so many vegetables you can eat. Potatoes, it depends on what if you have allergy to nightshades, but you can have those as well. And squashes, and the fruit, you have limits of fruit because of the high sugar content in the fruit. And you've done it for 2 years now. Did you lose weight?
I have been a vegan for years,
Okay.
so no, I can't really say a lot.
Because you've always been small.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just, I thought I was eating a really great whole food diet, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it was wheat.
You probably were eating a whole food diet. I'm eating a whole food diet. However, there's a lot of these grains I think I still have a problem with. But I love quinoa. There's a lot. I've made barbecue with quinoa. I've made so many things with quinoa. It's unbelievable. It's a great grain. So I could trade it for rice, not a problem. And I'm saying I could, but after I get out to Black Hills and back from ASI in August, I am doing this program. I'm doing it for myself. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if everyone knows that a lot of the immune system is in the gut.
Mm-hmm. COVID starts in the intestines. Yes.
Plus your selenium, your GABA,
Your GABA?
and dopamine. Half of all those chemicals stored in the gut
Yes.
and go to the brain.
Sure. The brain and the gut work together. That's why they tell you not to eat within several hours prior to bedtime, because the brain has to work along with the gut to get rid of the food, to digest it. So when you sleep 8 hours, 7 hours a night, and 4 hours of it is digesting, you're not getting rest. That's one of the reasons why I asked if you were eating before bedtime. Yes? Yes,
Is that a special kind of an exercise trampoline? Because I have a little trampoline that I bought for my grandkids.
uh-huh.
Is that the same thing?
That springs on it. The spring. I have a. I'm trying to think of the name of mine. Yes. Well, some are made better than others. Just like cars, just like anything. The one I have is a knee DAC. Go on Facebook Market. Go on Facebook Market. Just for exercise. That's all it's for. You can. You can just stand there and do this, or you can go faster, or you can go real fast, slow down. I go back and forth because I've heard it's better to have intermittent activity. So I'm up and down on it. I just set I don't really use the microwave much, so I usually use the timer on it, so I'll set it, give myself an extra minute, and then I'll go get on my rebounder. When it goes off, I'm off. Some have bars so you can hold on to. Are you sure it's for kids or it's just small? What? That's all these are. They're no bigger than this. Yes. Yeah, you can do. The handle's there for some people that might have a problem with balance. My husband does have a problem with balance. So if he gets on it, he puts it up against a wall, because I do have a handle, just don't ask me where it's at. We sold our house 3.5 years ago in Texas, and we could not find another house. We put 8 bids on homes, give them an offer, and everybody would outbid us, and one thing after another kept happening, and I just got a place where I said, I'm done, because the price of property just soared. We sold at a good time, but it was a terrible time because we could not find another house. So we ended up renting an apartment. Our stuff was in storage for over 3 years. And then we moved our stuff up to our apartment where we're living because we couldn't find a house. And everybody says, wait, the market's dropping. Don't buy right now. Don't buy. So we took our stuff and put it in another storage. And I'm ready to take a match to this stuff. Now I know why we don't need all this stuff. I'm tired of worrying about it, but I'm going to go through it when we move. What we can't use, it's out of there. Done with it. But yes, get a rebounder. If you have one, use it. If it has one with the handles on it, great. Just start using it. But do not do more than 10 minutes a day. Yes?
Obviously, I can't use one of those,
No, you can't.
but I do have what's called a Chi Energizer.
A Chi Energizer?
I lay on the floor, it's got little stirrups on it.
Okay.
I put my ankles in that, and it moves my legs and my whole body back and forth. And they say 5 minutes on that is equal to a half-hour walk. It circulates the blood and the lymph. And when I finish, I usually do the half hour.
Do you have your phone?
When I finish, I can feel the blood flow down my
And it's called a Chi?
Well, you can get different brands of it. The Japanese type is the best type. China makes them too.
But what is it called? I want to look.
Well, mine's called the Chi Energizer.
Chi Energizer. C-H-I, just like Chia, C-H-I, Energizer.
Got the light on.
Is it on? I'm fixing to shut them off. I'm going to serve them food. 70% off. Look that up for me. I want to kind of see what it looks like. Oh, you don't have your glasses on. He had the surgery last year for his cataracts, but they put new implants, but they, okay, I see what it is. Okay, so you're talking about this little like floor machine here? Okay, I see what it is. He has something similar to this that he used because he also had a lot of problems with neuropathy when he had diabetes. So the plant-based diet really helped him with the neuropathy as well.
I also had a weight problem for years,
Yes?
and I went on 2 meals a day,
Mm-hmm.
and I lost my weight.
By just ate what you want 2 meals a day, or you had to watch what you ate?
I eat pretty much what I like.
Okay. Sure. We eat 2 meals a day most of the time. If we do eat a third meal, we usually eat fruit, but most of the time it's 2 meals. I'm a Dr. Pepper girl. My husband says I'm a Dr. Pepper girl. I do not drink it. But you know on Dr. Pepper it says 10, 2, and 4. I'm the 10 and 4. I have feeding times. I eat at 10 and 4, and he says I get hangry. So what happens is I get I'm like, okay, and I get excited, and he's like, it's your feeding time. 10 and 4 o'clock, that's when I like to eat, and I haven't had my 4 o'clock meal. I think 1 minute, we're done, yay! Our rice is done, our salsa's done. These are chips that my husband makes all the time. Probably you're not gonna like them, and that's okay. Yes. Is that one? Yes. But we love them, so if you eat corn, the reason I like these is you can put seasoning on them, we just don't. But he takes the organic corn chips and he cuts them in 4s and bakes them in the oven. There's no oil, there's no salt, there's no nothing on them. Nice and crispy, and they stay for days. I put them in plastic baggies and they stay for days. So, honey, if you come down here to help me, I want to. Huh? These are corn tortillas, yes.
Corn tortillas.
Corn tortillas. And put some lettuce in that one for me, please.